There have been a lot of people that have been extremely vocal about silver. Since I've been making videos for over 7 years now, I've covered a large chunk of those people, but only a few really get it, in my opinion. Only a few have connected all the dots. Yes, a lot of them will get certain parts and other parts, but there is a few that really do see the bigger picture, and Keith Neumeyer is one of those people. So is Andy Scheckman. So is Ted Butler. So is David Morgan. And I'm sure there's a couple I'm missing right now. Mike Maloney. There's a lot of them. But compared to how many people want to throw out their 2 cents without truly diving headfirst into the, I could even say, silver rabbit hole, since there's a lot of controversy, not even just talking about something as simple as manipulation or anything. We're talking about something that is layered, especially if you want to talk about the Silver Institute's numbers, how accurate those are, or then go into the COMEX corruption, or then go into the silver shortage and how much is actually mined out, or how much is lost in landfills, or what the gold to silver ratio is, and how gold plays into silver, as silver is also an industry. I mean, I could go on and on and on. But luckily, there are a few people that are very vocal. They have a good following, and they are well respected, that understand the macro beyond just the micro. They found the missing puzzle piece, the thing that I've been mentioning for a long time now, which is the silver shortage and how important this is going to affect the price of silver moving forwards. I'm going to say one sentence that Keith Neumeyer said that breaks it down beautifully and proves my point on how he truly does get it. Low silver prices don't make sense given that the metal is in a deficit, said Keith Neumeyer, president and CEO of First Majestic Silver.
What has been holding silver back?
Well, you never know exactly the reasons. There is a very large paper market. And unfortunately, it's just a fact of life that miners have to put up with, that the metals that we produce and sell are mostly driven or predominantly driven by the paper markets. And what's going on in the banking system, what's going on in the COMEX, we have zero control over. And you're right, it is having a challenge at $24, and gold's having a challenge at $2,000. I see just today, as we just checked the quotes just before this interview, that they're both at 24 and gold's at 2,000. So maybe today will be a breakout day.
Is this going to be the day where they form those bottoms?
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so. Okay, on the, silver's got that sort of quasi-duality to it. It's got the investment side of it. It's also got the industrial metal side of it. On the industrial metal side of the equation, it's a very positive story for silver. Global mine silver production is due to fall 2% this year to about 820 million ounces, yet demand is forecast to be, 1.4 billion ounces this year. It was 1.2 billion ounces last year. So from that point of view, the market's in a deficit, and yet that doesn't really seem to translate or transfer into the pricing.
And in 2021, same thing. We produced the same amount of ounces, about 830 million ounces in 2021, and we had 1 billion ounces of consumption. 2021 was the first year that consumption actually broke through 1 billion. Now, last year was, as you just said, this year is 1.2, next year likely 1.4. So these are big numbers. And we've got now 2 industries, the solar panel industry and the electric car industry, that's consuming 30% of the mine supply of silver.
Just wanted to stop real quick. I'm going to try not to pause too much and just let it naturally play through, but that was a very good point. As you guys see, supply has been dropping or stagnant as demand is rising. As you also heard, 2021, we exceeded 1 billion ounces for the first time. Then last year, or this year at least, 1.21 billion ounces to be exact, and now we're predicting 1.4 billion ounces. How many billions of ounces by the year 2027, 2028? 1.8 billion ounces? 2 billion ounces? It sounds crazy, but you're about to hear him talk about how not only just the solar industry, also electric vehicles. A lot of people just focus on solar. They're forgetting that electric vehicles are also flooding the globe. Every automobile company by the year 2030 is supposed to be an EV. How much silver is that? And then talk about solar panel production rising rapidly year over year over year. People aren't looking at the bigger picture. They're looking at the immediate last year's numbers, this year's numbers. They're not looking forwards. And for an investment, that's the whole point. You're investing into something. You're investing into the asset because of its future potential. You're not investing into something because of where it's at right now. That's not investing. Like truly think about the word investing. You're investing your time. You're investing into an asset because looking forwards, that asset is supposed to have potential where it's now cheap. A lot of people don't do that. That's called gambling when you don't do that. You're just throwing your money and praying that it goes up. That's gambling. We're making a strategy. It's a silver stacking strategy. We're strategizing, right? So anyways, I just want to throw that in there. I'll try not to pause too much though. I love Keith Neumeyer, by the way.
And let's put that into some kind of context. A big primary silver mine produces what, 10 million ounces a year, 15 million ounces a year. So that's several silver mines worth of production that's just not there, or deficit.
Yeah, no, you're right. And, one mine coming on stream with 10 million ounces of production has zero impact. And there's no big mines out there that are coming into production anyways. I see, of course, I watch the industry quite a lot, and I'm seeing production dropping, at all the major silver mining producers. Silver is a tough metal. It's not like gold. Gold almost just falls out of the rock. They throw a little bit of chemicals at it, and to have 90%, 95% recovery in gold is quite common. Yet silver, you got to really work to get those types of recoveries. If you're at 70, 75%, now you're doing pretty good. And most silver mines are, generally speaking, in the 80, 85% range, and that's considered good.
There's a lot of talk in the metal space, in the commodity space, about energy transition metals. A lot of attention goes to nickel, goes to cobalt, goes to lithium, even to copper. But silver is one of those energy transition metals, and it's one that perhaps often gets overlooked because people think they know silver, but it has a lot of energy transition applications. Is this going to be a big driver for silver going forward?
Well, silver is not on the critical metals list, which is quite a surprise. The U.S. came out with a critical metals list a couple of months ago, and it was quite shocking that silver was not on there. There was a number of metals on there that I've never even heard of, surprisingly. So we have been in discussions with the governments of both Canada and the United States in cooperation with the Silver Institute, and our office is driving it. It was actually done from the First Majestic's ESG CSR team that wrote the original letter to the U.S. government, and now is followed up with the Canadian government to get silver put on the strategic metal list. So we expect that in 2025, the new strategic metal list will be published in the United States, and in 2024, we're expecting it will be published for Canada. And it's important.
When I saw that list, where Canada lists all these metals that are very scarce, that are important, that we don't have enough of, and silver wasn't on that list, I wasn't shocked. I mean, I was shocked, but for if any metal was purposely not going to be put on there, it would be silver. So it was shocking, but it wasn't shocking because, oh, silver isn't supposed to be on there, because it is. It's they purposely left it off, right? Like Keith Neumeyer said, there was a lot of metals that no one even knew of. That, like, there's clearly more of an urgent need for silver than I could argue 99, possibly 100% of all those other metals. Obviously, we would talk about lithium and cobalt, and obviously you'll hear nickel, like he said, maybe copper. He also mentioned gold being remelted and recycled, and gold is very easy to mine, and gold stays in circulation. Plus, miners are looking for gold and lead and zinc where they're not really looking for silver. Silver's a byproduct mostly found by accident. So for that, I never knew that he was actually he actually was trying to get silver on that list, because I made a video last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, about that list, and I showed all the metals, and right then I also said there's no way that silver just naturally didn't make the list because it wasn't needed. It was purposely left off, which that should speak something for itself. Why would they purposely leave silver off of that list? And it wasn't a small list. There was like 30 plus metals on there, like 30 plus metals, and just silver wasn't. That's weird. Everyone knows that silver, moving forward, that silver is the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity, electricity, and light sensitivity, right? If that wasn't the case, then okay, you could beg to differ. Maybe it just slipped under the radar. Everyone knows that silver is the most highly conductive metal, best performing metal by far for electronics, for the industry, as we go green. So for them to not have that on there is insane. And that's blatant. That's a blatant move that they purposely did not put it on there. It's not like they just missed over it.
Or we're expecting it will be published for Canada. And it's important to have it there because, these governments really need to understand the importance of silver because there is a big misunderstanding what silver is. A lot of people look at silver as a poor man's gold, which is completely a nonsensical way to look at it. All these lights, this computer that you're working on, everything that we do as the human race requires silver. And it's not understood. It's, I think, the most misunderstood metal there is on the planet.
And of course, it's a key component of the photovoltaic cells, solar panels. Now, silver producers are price takers, but to get more bang for your buck, First Majestic is building a minting facility in Nevada to produce and sell more silver directly. Tell us what the plan is there.
We've been selling silver direct to our retail customers and a lot of shareholders, quite frankly, since 2008. And then the business has slowly grown over time. And the last couple of years, what we've noticed is the mints have reached their limit. They cannot give us the demand that we're receiving. So we're maxing out. We have customers lining up for our product. If we had more product, we could sell it. And we're confident that we could sell probably 300, 400, 500 times that we're currently selling today. So we said, let's get a mint going. So we looked around and then we bought the equipment. We decided to open up in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a growing community, lots of people available for work, and tax regime's pretty good. International airport for transportation is great. So it just made a lot of sense. And it's easy for us from Vancouver to get there. Our refinery is close by, and silver coming from Mexico is easy to get to as well. So it just made a lot of sense, and it's almost complete. We were hoping to do our first bars in December. We're slightly behind schedule, but I think we'll be doing our first bars in January.
And of course, Las Vegas is the silver state.
It is actually, yes. That's right.
And you're selling silver coins and bars here at Deutsche Goldmesse. Are you getting a lot of interest in those?
They're all sold.
They're all sold?
Yeah.
Didn't bring enough inventory? Well, inventory constrained.
It's heavy stuff.
Yeah.
We had to, three of us dragged it over here, through security and, 3 airports to get it over here. So
There was a lot said right there. First, he talks about why it's so important that silver does get on that list. Says the lights, because silver is the most highly reflective metal as well. It's used for mirrors. It's used for everything. But also, he goes into how much silver is out there, how quick it's being taken off the shelves and nobody's reselling it. I always mention this phrase, the producers turn into the consumers and the consumers turn into producers. The people like you and I that are buying the silver will be selling it to the people that need the silver. Well, I won't be selling it, but as the price goes up, people will be selling it as companies need it, right? Think of Elon Musk, for example, with Tesla and SpaceX and Solar City, right? What happens when he can't? I mean, he bought a silver mine just like Neumeyer did, so he's a smart guy, but just say he didn't, and let's say he needed to get silver. Well, if there's not much silver left, we could set the price, and he will be willing to pay the price. We have the control, we have the power, because he needs it, and he would literally have to pay whatever price if he wants his business to stay afloat. But then you could also tie that into cost of production rising if he has to pay higher for the silver, and that's why he bought a silver mine, right? That was a no-brainer for him. Mike Maloney actually wrote a personal letter to Elon Musk urging him to buy silver for those same reasons. But regardless, that's a whole separate video that I've covered before. But Keith Neumeyer's making a good point. And then he made another good point at the end of that. The last like 3 words he said sparked a whole other thing we could talk about. He was mentioning how silver's selling out. So you guys think you have this luxury of just, oh, I could buy silver. A lot of these companies, they're portraying that they have silver, but they don't have much left. They are at their wits' end. They are trying to piece together any amount of silver, especially eagles, that they can, and that's why Miles Franklin has this luxury, and I would say it's very luxurious because most people like eagles. Trust me, I'm a broker now, so I see what people want, and they want eagles, especially because I have an eagle deal right now. Eagles only $4.99 over spot, no minimum, and constitutional silver only $3 over spot. Which I just took advantage of those deals, by the way, my own deals. But listen to this. We have a direct connection with the U.S. Mint. See, the U.S. Mint earlier this year, they banned everyone from buying from them. You cannot purchase directly from the U.S. Mint anymore. Individuals can't and dealers can't. The U.S. Mint did, though. They chose a couple dealers that still can. And Miles Franklin is one of them. So when, especially moving forwards, as eagles are going to become harder and harder to get, we still have access to their inventory, where these other sites that you might be buying from, they don't. So all they have to do, they'll have to shoot their prices up a lot higher, because there's a third party, there's a middleman, where we can go directly to the source. And that's because we're so respected, right? And because we have a good relationship with them. So yeah, that's something that might be handy later on. Relationships are critical, and that's why if you purchase through me, you build a relationship with me. I've talked to so many of you on the phone, right? We talk on the phone now. You can email me, become friends, right? Even after you guys place an order or whatever, be like, hey, you can still chat with me whenever. We don't specifically have to talk about placing orders. Talk about your day. Talk about what you did at work. Talk about my opinion on certain coins, or what your favorite coins are in your stack, or whatever. We just talk, right? And that's the beauty of it. It's the beauty of it. It's incredible. But it's a good point though, that silver is becoming harder and harder to get. And then he said something at the end, is the guy says, all of our bars sold out already, and he says, lack of inventory, right? And he said, there's so much of it to carry. See, silver is, since it's so cheap, you could purchase so much of it. So storage is a pain in the butt. Where gold, it isn't. You could fit $100,000 worth of gold in 2 hands. You cannot fit $100,000 worth of silver in 2 hands. It would take more than a shoebox, probably several shoeboxes. And because think of a monster box. A monster box, 500 ounces. And monster boxes are nowhere near $100,000. So you'd need probably like I can't even think of like a comparison, like a bathtub or something. But the whole point is, though, all jokes aside, storage can be important, and that's also another reason why I say diversification into gold might be something you look into. Or if you're going to store online with a third party, I recommend, like, once again, Miles Franklin, because I know for sure where our silver is stored, right? I actually know this stuff. We keep it in segregated accounts. You might not know the difference between non-segregated and segregated. Non-segregated means someone can go into your vault and exchange let's say you have eagles. They can exchange your brand new BU eagles with some dinged up crappy eagles, because the eagle is still an eagle. So it's almost like, yeah, your silver's still there, but it's not your personal vault. It's not your personal inventory. Where segregated, it is, and a lot of places do non-segregated, and I would never want my audience, my fans, to be in a situation like that. And I just think that Andy always takes the step further, the furthest step, to make sure that all of you are taken care of. And trust me, the more I'm becoming close with Andy and learning about the company. As you know, I'm taking a step into the new position, meeting the entire staff the other day. I mean, he really does things the right way. It is very impressive to see so many people that genuinely care. It's really cool because Andy would never let someone in that didn't care. Or, you know, he chose me because he, like he says, he saw something in me that I'm genuine. And if he didn't, he wouldn't pick me, even though I could make sales for him. Probably he wouldn't have chose me because he already has made enough sales. It's not like, you know, but regardless, I just wanted to throw that in there because I did want you guys to know the difference between segregated and non-segregated, because there is a difference. Oh yeah, the whole point of that was storage, because some people might have to store it. They can't store it at home. So yeah, it's a good point. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I'll probably post another video today. If not, definitely tomorrow, because I post videos every day. I highly recommend you go check out the video I made yesterday, where I think the title is, what is the title? It's Congress demands the Fed to tell us where our gold is, or something along those lines, because that is literally what they did. They said, let us know where all of our gold is. You have 1 month to do so. And it's a very interesting article. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you guys wanted to watch the entire interview, I'll post this in the description, but this video would be like 2 hours long if I did that. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.